You've got Dave Roderick to join us, Chloe Wood, Karen Lutz, Rindallo, Alan Barnes. That makes five of us total. And I doubt if anybody's going to really stay for the whole thing because it's just going to be my monologuing about who, what, when, and where. Raw journalism, primary documentation for historians of the future, potentially on Harrowings Live with Hal Gill, your host. Harrowings, meaning that we are living in harrowing times, as they all are. Life on our planet has always been an existential crisis at one level or another, though we are living in an age of abundance, at least part of the humanity is. Others are fighting scarcity. So we have to remember that. We have to remember that we're built for surviving scarcity and feast or famine kind of hunter-gatherer societies. Well, we've transcended that in this technological age and this age of information, of which there is a glut. This is some of it, some of the information. We're outside the embassy of Estonia. And if you think it's possible still to get Estonian citizenship, if you're willing to pay them enough money, I would check that out. There's the Argyle House there, pretty fancy looking building. And we're coming up on the embassy of Luxembourg. Luxembourg is where an awful lot of wealth is kept in perpetual transit and storages in the airports. I don't know if you're aware of that. I need to fact check it, make sure that's actually still true. I think it is. One of the ways that people protect their assets is by buying things like paintings and artworks of all sorts, things of value, and then keeping them perpetually in transit keeps them from being taxed. Crazy, no? Anyway, need more details on that little factoid. Monument to the Masaryk, the Czech patriot, was the president of Czechoslovakia between World War I and II. His country, of course, was subdivided and then totally absorbed into the Third Reich. Empires come and go. Reichs, empires, same thing. It's kind of funny that Austria is still called the Eastern Empire, Österreich, and the German native language of the Austrians. I have a good friend who's living in Salzburg now. We've been talking about her a little bit the other day. Look at how some tremendous fungus coming up out of this tree. You know, we are surrounded by life on this planet. We aren't sure that life exists anywhere else besides on this planet. And we're really cavalier about it all. This primate species. There's a thought that we were evolved from an aquatic ape species. I went into that a little bit this morning too. Threw a link into it in my office hours post, day 25. It's the 25th day of my freedom from a activity, which is a big part of my practice. And now my practice is not being part of that. Practicing absence rather than presence. Sometimes our absence can speak louder than our words and our presence. So it's a thought. I'm a contrarian by nature. This is a church for the pilgrims. All are welcome. Churchofthepilgrims.org. Dance classes happen there. Dance sports. Used to attend a group of men that met there on a regular basis. They moved, and I'm still tapped into them. Still get information about their gatherings on Saturday mornings. But I'm absenting myself from them as well. Okay, thank you. Just gonna stop, appreciate it, keep on walking, keep stepping over the bodies. That's the thing, right? Everybody is in the process of going from I to otherwise. And antidromia is in effect. One cannot step in the same river twice, quoting Heraclitus, of course. And the in antidromia concept, near and dear to my heart, is that things are constantly in the state of becoming their opposite. Crossing this Q Street Bridge, and on the Q Street Bridge is a nice black walnut growing. Want to see a black walnut here. Love those trees. I love the smell of black walnuts. If you're not familiar with them, check them out. I think this one across the bridge looks like the kind of leaves that black walnuts have. Definitely having a Q Street Bridge. Loaded down. Nice green walnuts. Here's the Rock Creek Park. We got a little bit of rain. You can probably see from my umbrella coming into the picture occasionally. Yeah, that's what it is. Black walnuts. I see them there for everything on the tree. Loaded down there. Lovely. I get one. Not handily. Not quite. I think I was leave a beak. Don't know. Did she say something? No idea. It looked very nice. She may have been on the phone or something. There's also a black walnut here. Oof. No. Honey locust. Red bud. Big red bud. Lots of little seed pods on that. Here's an oak. Small one. Is recently planted, probably. Larger oak. Acorns on that. Green ones. Skirting beneath another arch oak. Then we're coming up on one of the apartment buildings that lines P Street. Got to get across P Street, actually. I don't see anything coming that way. There is something coming this way, but I'm going to get out of his way before he hits me. Yep. Well done. And looking down at the Rock Creek Parkway, you're going to be walking along Rose Park, get down to M Street, eventually, 30th. A little slippy on these bricks. One has to be careful to keep their feet under them because it only takes one fall to change your life forever. My mother certainly had that experience. Had an exchange with my brother-in-law today. He's concerned about her confabulating negative stories. I don't think he should be so worried. I mean, he's going to listen to an 86-year-old woman in cognitive decline. But I guess they feel a little put upon. And I can understand that. They've worked really, really hard to get the house ready for sale. And, all the emotional stuff that had to happen. My sister had to bear, and my brother-in-law had to do most of the work. Right. Sure, we lost a lot of stuff in the process. Wasn't well coordinated. They didn't want to work with me in person, lest I say something that irritate them. I expect. Must be something to have such a thin skin, but that's the way it goes. And one should be sensitive to other people's feelings. I ought to be. I mostly am. So that's a little bit of information that y'all probably don't even need to hear. Not paying any attention to who's here either. Don J, hey. What else we got? Sharpaya Mullet, of Old Insight, Alan Barnes, all joined. Well, great. We've had up to 9 besides me. Peeking in. on the passing show here in Georgetown. I think I've crossing the P Street Bridge. I believe this is official Georgetown, crossing along Rose Park. It's nice, got a lot of wild grapevine growing there. The wild grapes coming out and joggers, everything, all the time, as the Eagles once observed. Some trees of heaven there. These dangerous invasive species. We've been seeing a lot of red lanternflies here too. They're also an invasive species. I think first cropped up in Maryland. Little sap suckers. They're all over that tree right now. Tree of heaven is particularly attractive to them for their sap sucking because that's also an invasive species. So they travel together. Think about that. There's a lot of the biome is being converted into those. But, there's been a crash in insect populations, overall native species. We're lucky. I see the fireflies coming out. There's a red lanternfly just flew across that cherry tree. I think that's cherry. I'm walking past. You see traffic on Rock Creek Parkway. Everybody's moving if they ain't already there. Everybody's got to be somewhere. And that's a little line cobbled up from a Bob Dylan trove of lyrics floating around my head. Oh, Bob has been traveling with me since I was a little tyke. I've gone to see him a few times. Caught it first in Copenhagen, Denmark. April 8th, I think it was, of 2002 at the Forum. He opened up with Hallelujah, I'm ready to go. And I forget what all he played after that. Tweedledee and Tweedledum, maybe? From Love and Theft, which came out, was released on 9/11/2001. Produced by Jack Frost, one of Bob's alter egos. A little market here, apparently. Wicker Valley, they're often at our DuPont Circle Market. Some others, Dogwood Lane Dairy. One thing we have is abundance. And I'm taking in a little bit more of the vegetation, grapevines, black walnut trees. There's some black walnuts hanging there. Up there. I don't see many down here yet. Black walnuts are just delicious too. You get them ripe, break them open. They're hard to break. You need a hammer after they're matured. Butterfly bush over there. What else we got? We got a little playground. Just a little bit of rainfall. Walking into another oak tree. Red oak. Think. Could be wrong. What's this tree? This tree's tremendous, eh? Elm. I believe. Maybe. Think so. American elm. Thought you elm disease hadn't got that one. Pretty sure that's what it is. Based on the leaf form there. You can see some of the apartment buildings lining the other side of Rock Creek. Some of the older homes. Georgetown on the other side. It's another black walnut. It's kind of spreading in a way that doesn't look walnut-esque. I don't see walnuts on it, so I don't think this is one. I'm not sure what this is. Let's check it out. Sometime hickory, maybe. Maybe. oak, some form of magnolia. And over here, more grapevines climbing on everything. Kudzu, maybe? I think so. Virginia creeper, trumpet vine. Another large leaf tree there. That reminds me of my father's cucumber tree. I'm not sure that it is. It's a type of magnolia. And I don't know what that is. Fast growing tree, I think. From the look of its trunks. Anyway, trees, humans, animals. You got dog up ahead on the path. And we've got 6:40, so I've got 20 minutes to get to the show. It shouldn't be too terribly hard to do. Well, I'm coming up on M Street here at the end of the park. Walking out on the asphalt. A couple of mourning doves, 3 of them that I can see from here on the road. It's at least one. There's a second. There was one on a sidewalk, the brick sidewalk nearby. Okay, what else? Another huge tree. It's a ginkgo. Ginkgos are an ancient species. You can find evidence of them being around way back. Primitive tree. I take ginkgo biloba for memory reasons. It's supposed to be good for that. These are huge, old trees, an old species. Probably will outlive us and our geological blip that we are. We've just achieved a point at which I believe we can make our technology self-sustaining and self-evolving so that we ourselves could pass away and it continues without us. I think that really should be our goal, considering that if we architect things correctly, things can go on without us. That's part of being an architect, right? To make things sustainable, long term. We've got a lot of great minds working on the subject, mine included, trying to link up to other minds in the same wavelength. So if you're in that wavelength, get in touch. Hey, number is 757-332-4044. You can text me, you can call me. If you do, make sure you tell me what it's all about, because if I get a spam call, I block, I report. I do not cotton to that. I'm not here for small talk, if you haven't picked that up already. Substantive observations of who, what, when, and where. This is the city that Donald Trump says is so crime-ridden, you have to take it over. And I don't think it's true. But, it's what it is. Here I'm jaywalking, going against the light. That's about as much crime as I get involved in, mostly. Maybe I run a red light once in a while. I don't mean to usually. But if I don't have Lynn there to tell me it's so red, I might not notice till I'm already on the other side. Got a jet going into National there. I like to watch the jets, track where they're coming from, what they're doing, who's on them. I don't know. But everybody's moving. Like I said earlier, if they ain't already there, everybody's got to be somewhere. Keep on walking. Okay. So stand and wait. The sun's so hot, the hour's so late. 43, all right. I'm at 29th Street. I get a crossing. You've got 23 seconds to get across to the other side of 29th at M. Watch my step here, that is just slippy. Looks like I'll be counting me down soon. a red handle pop up, and I could cross again, go down to K Street to the theater. Yeah, I think yellow. Definitely have to be cautious of me. Yeah, we're gonna go down 30th. Other side of M. Retail space is open. 202-393-7000 if you're interested. It's a main drag to Georgetown. M, and then up where that Golden Dome is, Wisconsin. It's my PNC Bank again. It's good to walk. It's good to talk. Don Chase said, enjoy the show, sir. I will. And hello, Beth Road Guy. Good to have you with us. I'm almost at my destination, so I won't be going live with anybody right now. But tomorrow, at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm planning to get together with Kay Stoner or one of her AI bots or several and have a conversation. See how that goes. You don't know Kay Stoner yet? Look her up. She's doing a lot with AI. She's built teams of personas in ChatGPT 4.0, and that is interesting that they can work together on problems, break them down. And I don't know, man. We'll find out more. I'm pretty ignorant of most things, so I look at it as an opportunity to educate myself. That sounds interesting. Yes, it does. I think so. You can probably tell I hold the phone up to see what you're saying because I don't want to see everything. I hate being called sir, by the way. Nobody's sir. Not now. I didn't even like it when I was sergeant, which I was between the ages of 14 and 18 in the Fife and Drum Corps, Colonial Williamsburg. I think you took it very seriously because our boss took us seriously. Created 500 odd good citizens, he said. And we adored him, respected him. I was John C. Moon, John Colin Moon. Actually, I found out recently his very first name was Alfred. So he was A.J.C. Moon, drum major of the Scots Guards, youngest one in their history. And then he retired from the British Army, probably in his late 30s, early 40s, and came to America, where he had a number of jobs before he landed the one that he had for 20 years as a music master of the Colonial Williamsburg Pipe and Drum Corps, 1972 to 1992. During part of that, he actually was the director of the Company of Colonial Performers. He traded that with Bill White. Bill's still around with us, doing a lot of watercoloring. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll occasionally see watercolors by Bill. He's also on the board of directors now of Jamestown Yorktown Foundation, where my sister is the chief development officer. So we're still doing what we can for the community down there. I usually give something to that foundation. I think the last time was about $250 when an appeal went out. Feel good about that. I was on their 1607 society, but I don't think I am now. I think I'll let that lapse. Can't do everything. I am still a member of the Governor's Circle. Can't access the building through this way. And yeah, what else do I want to talk to you all about before I go into the theater? Go to the Grateful Dead movie and IMAX 4K restoration. I'm looking forward to that. It's been much hyped by Brian Hassett, friend of mine that I haven't met yet in person, but we rapped quite a bit on a couple of phone calls. And Brian is a great beat historian, author, and you should check him out. It's Brian Hassett, Hassett. Yale's from Canada originally. And like me, is something of a cultural anthropologist. I don't really call myself that. I just did, though. So maybe I will from now on. Who knows? I have a couple of certifications in generative AI. Wonderful. I don't doubt it. I'd like to get a few myself. Certifications, that is, in AI. I'm thinking about becoming an AI consultant. I'm also thinking about some other career paths. I've got to have one or another eventually, besides being on Substack. Need more paid subscribers if I'm going to do this exclusively. 15 is a good start. More would be better. But amplification is also much appreciated. How are we doing? 10 minutes to showtime, 7 p.m. I expect their previews, so get my seat, get scanned in. Really muggy out here. Wet, too. But I don't think I need the umbrella at the moment. For one thing, I've got a bridge over me. That's a main part of K Street, and there's part underneath of it. Expressway above me. A lot of steel, tons of steel, tons of steel. That's a tune by Brent Midland. We will not be singing the film tonight because he hadn't joined the Grateful Dead until 1979 when he replaced Keith Gottschall, who sadly was killed in a car accident at a fairly young age. Donna Jean's still with us. She should show up. Mickey Hart will be joining this one too, rejoining the Grateful Dead at the Winterland after a hiatus. And he'd come back with them again after they came back from the hiatus pretty quickly. Anyway, the idea at the Winterland was that this would be it. And, but it wasn't. They're not the best at what they do. They're the only ones who do what they do. Steely face there. Going the right direction. 31st Street. And hear the rumbling traffic on the road above. And it's just a really pleasant evening if you like mugginess. We're not far from the Potomac River. 31st Street Northwest. And I think I'm going to be cutting this edition of the Passing Show pretty soon here on Harrowings Live with Hal Gill, your host. Who, What, When, and Where, Washington, D.C., August the 13th, 2025. Coming up on 7 p.m. It's 6:52 by the Benjamin Banneker and Cedars Tavern location. A little historical marker there. Ah, yeah. We're on target. AMC Theater. Thanks for joining if you have. Hasta la vista and hello, Lisa. Thank you very much, guys. Keep it coming and stand and wait.